Hi Aquarius, welcome to the channel. The still air, the fixed air. I'm going to come down a little bit from the Capricorn reading. Aquarius the ghost just had 2 beautiful Aquarius full moons. Last Leo season, now we're in Virgo season. Aquarius, can you go to Celtic Cross for Aquarius? The fixed air, the lower legs, the ankles. So in the present energy is the Tower card. So going through some sort of really major transformation, the Tower moment of things are just falling down and there's not necessarily anything that you can, there's not necessarily anything to be done about that. It's just going to happen. And so just let it happen, and just some sort of major change in how you view life, or how something with a relationship or with a job, or just some major change in your life is happening right now, and you probably know what that is if this is going to resonate for you. A challenge right now is the Knight of Pentacles in the reverse. So maybe being could be procrastinating, or having a sense of perfectionism about the work that you're doing, but just whatever's happening in your work, you're not necessarily feeling that's it and that's the stuff right now. You might be kind of feeling slowed down in your work, how you're accumulating money, resources with a new career, and that is definitely going to feel like a challenging energy. And maybe that has to do with this Tower moment, just thinking about what am I doing with my life, and how I think about abundance, but also maybe more practically how I bring in my money and bring in my resources from that perspective. In the recent past, you had the Page of Cups in the reverse. So this is, Cancer moon right now. This is about sort of being emotionally moody, not having, a little bit of emotional immaturity, not necessarily having, control over your emotions. And maybe that is partially what's leading into this Tower moment now, realizing that you don't necessarily know how to work actively with your emotions, regardless of what emotion you're feeling at a time, and help yourself to either calm down through that or use it for something that's a productive energy. And maybe that's what's leading to this Tower moment, or as part of this Tower moment. And in the near future, you have the 9 of Swords, which is some sort of major sense of disappointment. So it looks like, maybe with how you've been emotionally processing, some major thing is happening in your life now. It's just sometimes the universe just says okay, this is, time for this thing, and it's not planned. And maybe that's going to lead to some amount of just a disappointment about something that you, of course, I hope to not be disappointing. In the above conscious energy is the Fool card. This is the Joker, 0, major arcana card. Some people associate this with Aries, but some people associate it with Uranus, which is, the Aquarius planet, as well as Saturn, but more individually. Uranus is the rebel, and, the innovator, which is Aquarian energy. And, this person, the conscious energy is really just moving forward with a free spirit, and a free-spirited optimism, and just going out and exploring and not thinking about it too hard, and just letting the experience of things take you, which I think is really great. Really good way to deal with a Tower moment is just to keep it moving and do your thing and experience new stuff. And because this is an energy of not being able to really control everything at the moment, and so just doing your thing and experiencing can be, a helpful thing. And, bring your little doggy along with you for the ride, because that always makes it a little bit easier. But also, this person can be so free-spirited and, just excited about new experience in the world, that they can, also fall off of this cliff that they're almost walking off of. So also a reminder about that. And in the below energy, a lot of major arcana cards here, especially you have it above, you have it below, and in your present energy. So the Wheel of Fortune card. So this is fixed energy for Aquarius. So a lot of your energy is in this reading. The Tower card can be associated with like more fixed energy of Scorpio, the water moon right now. I think like the elemental signs can teach us a lot just as a general archetype too. So just like water stuff going on, especially with that difficulty, maybe controlling your emotions or having like a balanced relationship with your emotions. Interesting, the fish. Wheel of Fortune card, this is about like karma and luck. So just like some sort of major divine energy is happening for you in this moment. The wheel is just spinning, and I think like subconsciously you just like understand that maybe, and that's why you're just you're above and below. This is why you're just like, okay, the wheel is spinning, I'm just gonna experience what I can experience with this and try to have fun and try to have new experiences, because a lot is going on right now, and it's not necessarily something I can, maybe you realize it's not something that you can control, or maybe you don't necessarily even want to control it, but there's some sort of like luck or karma or just like, and an understanding that that's what's going on, that this is just like life is happening and you're just going to take it. And like Aquarius the ghost, I feel like would be kind of good at doing that, just like letting things come as they will, like the still air, just like waiting to see how things happen sometimes. And like just like living and experiencing through it, not necessarily like getting too sad about it and just allowing it to happen. The advice card is the 10 of Cups. So finding that watery energy, getting in, this is about happy home life, I think, especially, really. Cups are also about like creative opportunity and just general senses of nurturance, but the advice is to really like work on, developing the happiness of like your home, whatever that means for you, and really bringing in that love, that big heart love of the Cancer moon into what you're experiencing right now, because air signs can get kind of stuck in the head. So the advice right now is definitely to like think about your love, your relationships, the house of friends, the 11th house associated with Aquarius, your friends and the people who you love in all different kinds of ways, romantic, platonic, familial, I would say colleagues too, especially because it's like Virgo season right now, and just like our love can also be in our work, but just like love, bringing like love and happy home life into what you're doing, whatever it is that's going on right now can maybe be beneficial for you. The energy surrounding you right now is the 9 of Wands, fire energy, feeling like you are up against like boundaries and barriers, and maybe you have to like defend against something, but like you're ready for it and you're here and you're gonna put in the work to like defend what you need to keep yourself safe and to persevere and keep it moving. A fear right now is maybe like a little bit of a sense of like just like sitting there, and a little bit of apathy, which I think can come in for Aquarius in general. But like, the divine cup is being handed to you, more of that water nurturing energy of the home life or friends or just relationships in general. And you just kind of sitting there with your arms crossed being like, yeah, that's cool, that's the cup, but I don't want to take that from you right now. So do with it whatever you will. So maybe you have a fear of like not taking the gifts that you're being given, and maybe wanting to do that, but it doesn't necessarily mean you won't take the cup. But if that's a concern of yours, then that's even more of a reminder for why this 10 of Cups advice is could be really helpful to move towards right now. If you're wondering which way to go, really think about like your relationships and with other people, which is just again House of Friends energy. You can decide to take the cup, because there's destiny, but there's also choice. And in the outcome energy here, you have the Devil card in the reverse. So like releasing addiction, releasing attachment, healing. This is Chiron in retrograde energy, which is coming up for a lot of the readings. And I was just talking about in the Capricorn reading before this one, Chiron went into retrograde mid-July, staying there until mid-December. And that's just like it's going to be just a significant period of healing for people who haven't been able to like heal in all the ways that they want to, maybe getting to some of like the deeper stuff, some of the little stuff that hasn't been, fully solved yet. Releasing codependency, releasing addiction to an idea, to a substance, to something that is causing you harm. When we start to become dependent on something that causes us harm, that is essentially what addiction is. And so this is about like releasing that. And I think that that's beautiful. Maybe this is something you've been working on for a while, the sense of codependency and addiction and attachment to something. And again, that can be like our own ideas about what life is and isn't. But you're going through some sort of major change right now. You're feeling kind of like delayed around how you are delayed or like procrastinating about the ways that you define abundance. Using like a really free-spirited energy to like go about your life, which I think is just, you know, what Aquariuses are going to do in general. And just understanding, I think, in a deeper way that like this is just like the wheel spinning, and this is just luck, and this is just destiny. Whatever's happening here is destiny. And there might be a sense of disappointment coming up because maybe as that tower falls, like you don't know what pieces will still be there, and you know what rooms you can fix versus what rooms are gone. And now you have to think about, you know, how to build new rooms or build rooms somewhere else. But there will always, you know, be a sense of disappointment with that, but also newness. Like the ending of something is always like the next beginning. And maybe you need things to be shaken up a little bit, because even like as an air sign of wanting to communicate and like talk and be with friends and stuff, there can be like a fixed stubbornness to that can also harm us, of course. And so the result of this, even if there is going to be a disappointment about this tower moment, even if you understand that this is like a form of destiny, is to release like a sense of attachment. Like it's good to be interdependent with people, but when we are like relying on one person or one thing or one idea to like be our happiness and to be like, I need that thing or else I'm not going to be able to be happy, that's a form of attachment that really does cause us like pain on a spiritual level. And you are starting to like release whatever that sense of like addiction or attachment is for you. And so I'm happy to see that. And just like, you know, advice to keep bringing in the love of the people who love you, because there are so many people who love you. So many friends that Aquariuses always have. And just remembering, you know, to bring in that happy home life of stuff, especially when the rest of this is just kind of like falling down and kind of like crashing around a little bit here and there. Not that things crashing all the time are bad, but it can be disconcerting. And so just remember to bring in that home, you know, that love of, you know, the friends and the people who love you in general. And like you're ready and you're persevering and you're working through it. You're afraid of not taking this cup that's being divinely handed to you, but like that's a choice that you can make if you're feeling like there's an opportunity you're not taking and there is one to pursue that you feel passionately about. That's a choice about whether or not to take the cups, even if that's your fear. And I love that you've been coming out of this space of being like a little bit more emotionally immature, and maybe that is placing you into this, you know, major destined energy of just like something has to change, and sometimes something just has to like break a little bit so that you can get on to like the next step of things. When you can't think your way to the next step, that air sign energy, sometimes you have to just like let yourself feel your way through it, gather the love around you, just let it happen, figure out how you'll deal with the pain in the way that, you know, as it comes, because the ending of something is always the beginning of something else, and really working towards releasing your sense of attachment and addiction so that you can really be like free, the ghost, you know, don't get trapped here as a ghost, you know, in the middle plane. Decide where you're going to go, decide where you want to be the ghost. And like when you're attached to things like that, like the attachment is your ghost and it's not you anymore. It's a lot of healing for all the signs. Romance is in the air. That's too many, please. Romance is in the air, which is beautiful for the Cancer moon. And air sign Aquarius. Can I go one more? Okay, fine. I don't want that many. Fine. I see February and I know I have to take it. Romance is in the air. Bring in that love, you know, bring in your romance, bring in that happy home life to deal with it, whatever the rest of this is that you're dealing with here. Sun, happiness, and well-being. And that Fool card, I was going to say, like, that sun is, like, looking, you know, bright and beautiful behind them. Happiness and well-being. Like, bring that with you on your journey, you know, as this tower falls. Triumph over troubles and obstacles. The energy surrounding you is your perseverance. Fair man. This came up again. This just came up for Capricorn. Dealings or relationship with a man with blonde, gray, or white hair. These ones always confuse me. I feel like I just want to get rid of them from the deck sometimes, but maybe that's relevant for you. situations in the balance that require careful handling. So like with this tower moment stuff, like just also be careful. You know, you don't want to be the fool that like is in reverse and like falls off the cliff. Just still be careful about what's going on. Take that love with you. Understand that it's destiny, but also just like tread carefully, because you know there's no morality in being like flippant or anything. So situations in the balance that require careful handling. Family sorrow in February. February is just Aquarius associated. That's still air there. And family sorrow. So I'm sorry if there is something going on with your family, but keep bringing in that love, because like there is so much love here. So just like think, you know, bringing in the love of your family and all the people who love you through this moment can be helpful. And maybe this has to do with your family, like the tower moment, and like you flipping an idea that's allowing you to like get rid of the attachment to something now that you know that major tower moment is happening. But happiness and well-being will be with you, and you know romance is also in the air. So your family loves you, your friends love you, your lovers love you. Allow that romance, you know, that air romance. You know, we think of water a lot as love, but there's a lot of romance to the air signs. And just, you know, allow that romance to like settle into you as well. And romance can be for everything. It's not just romantic love. Like friendships can be romantic, and we can develop romance in like a lot of different ways in our lives. And that Fool card is romantic, just like, you know, what we can experience in the world. And so always have to be like hard and struggling all the time. Protection, ideation, and isolation. I'll read isolation and ideation first, because they came out. Being isolated can feel lonely, but it can also be tremendously healing. When you're feeling secluded, it can be a time to learn more about yourself, to dive deep down into the parts of yourself that you can't reach when you're around others, and learn the importance of some alone time. Give yourself the chance to heal and to rediscover yourself. So, like, if you need some time, take time. Ideation, again, those ideas with the air signs. This always says it's pink. I disagree. It looks orange to me. This card is about the growth of ideas and new projects in your life. Now is the time to focus on creating a safe space for your creative endeavors. This moment is just for you and your project. Let your ideas grow while you nurture and care for them. Enjoy this special time. So, like, maybe while you're, like, feeling like you need to take a little bit more of that isolation, ghost time out, like, think about your projects and use that to be productive about the way that you are, you know, taking that time for yourself, so that it doesn't feel like loneliness as a sense of isolation. It can be more of like a gentle spiritual journey while you're taking time and making it as productive for yourself as you can, and working with your ideas in a safe space when, you know, you can process things alone a little bit. And protection. The essence of this card is about feeling personally safe and protected as you navigate through life. It asks you to find the delicate balance of pushing yourself through fearful, anxious situations while also feeling secure. This card asks how you can feel protected during those scary situations. Does it mean reaching out to others, or just making sure that you are grounded in the present? How can you move forward while feeling safe? And so this energy surrounding you is like there is, you know, there's an energy of being like you're being tested a little bit here. So how can you like protect yourself, which you are absolutely doing, but also, you know, stay safe within that, keeping that balance. So situations in the balance that require a careful handling. So keep yourself safe while you still, you know, while you defend yourself. Keep a balance between like protecting yourself and still having new experience. So have new experience, but just careful not to be like flippant about stuff. If you need time for yourself, you know, use that time to like work on your ideas and work on things you don't have time for when there are a lot of people around, whether physically or like in your head, just because you're not, you know, you're just not in as that a period of isolation at that moment. Emotions are running high, super moon. So it's a Cancer moon right now. It's all about kind of like the flooding of emotions. So it's just like maybe just feeling a lot of stuff right now in different ways. That's why you're feeling a little isolated. disappointed maybe in the near future after this major tower moment. Just like, destiny is happening, and sometimes destiny doesn't feel like great in every moment. We are fairy tales, but like not all fairy tales are like, always positive and stuff. So just like you're feeling a lot of stuff, a lot of emotions, which is maybe a good thing, because sometimes Aquarius is like more stuck in like the logic of things, and in that air energy of like communication and wanting things to be logical and wanting things to be scientific. But like sometimes just like letting in that love is what we need for a situation, especially when we're people who are more easily geared towards like just thinking like rationally and linearly and logically. Just advice is to bring in the love of the people who love you and your home life. And if you're feeling a lot of emotions, and in the recent past you're feeling like not exactly sure about how to get control of your emotion, it's because there's a lot of emotion going on. And so allowing in that emotion, because maybe you're going to be processing it in a new way now, and releasing attachment to the way that you experience your emotions. Like you thought something about emotions, but now you think something differently after like a certain thing in your life has happened. And keep yourself protected. If you need that time for yourself, just keep working on your ideas, even if it's about, like developing new perspectives about things and the ways that you can like more adaptively incorporate the emotionality of your life into your life, because we all have to learn like that balance of knowing how to do both things, our work life and our home life, math and art. Maybe just like a lot of emotions on this Cancer moon, and just like letting that take you. Just let that tower fall, and it looks like the outcome here is a maturational experience. Blessing of Al Hakim. Maturational experience of no longer being like bound in a way that like you don't want to be bound. Sell your cleverness and buy bewilderment. Cleverness is opinion, bewilderment is vision. So yeah, don't have to work on too much about like being clever and like thinking about stuff. This is more about like your feeling and your emotions, and like that's what you're kind of supposed to be in right now. The gift of wisdom, the blessing of Al Hakim, gurgles up from your heart. Her blessing is evoked by life like the laughter of a babe joyfully responding to the playful tickle of the mother's hand. Mother energy again right now is the Virgo sun season, Mother Mary, the servant, and the Cancer moon where Mother Moon is domiciled. Wisdom can make divine sense of anything, especially of that where logic is blinded. And blinding has been coming up a lot today, and I think I'm starting to see a new archetype of like Cancer as a sign can be blinded. Love is blind. Too much emotion can blind you, and so that's I think why rational, logical people like to kind of keep the emotion at bay, but like you have to still make sure that you're balancing both things. Like there's no one right answer about how to be a person. So blinding I think is just like a Cancer archetype. How I revered the blessing of Al Hakim of wisdom, for she is precious and welcome to me now and always, the dear friend who brings me such peace. Soul medicine. From this place of increasing stillness, the still air Aquarius, great activity will flow. You shall become capable of being the surrendered vessel to the guiding divine hand, and truly great contributions to the human soul evolving can occur through you. So much will simply emerge, erupt, pulsate, and emanate out of you, and yet you will feel within as though you are doing nothing at all, even while so much is happening through you. Such holy paradox shall become your daily experience. So like you just like walking as the divine and deciding to take this cup. This oracle comes with special guidance. If you are uncertain about an issue in your life, be at peace. There is divine healing that can occur most readily in the unknowing. Follow the sacred honoring ritual. Just like, tips about like a certain way to set an intention around the cards. Perhaps you're journeying very deep indeed, and your allegiance to your intellectual mind is softening in favor of allegiance to your heart knowing, which is what this is sort of seeing. It's allowing that emotion to come in more so that you know how to work with it. Because maybe that's not something you knew how to do before. So this is peace. Look to the old ways, to the ancient wisdom teachings that run as one vein of life, giving love through all traditions. The old wisdoms teach of cycles, of timing, of letting go to allow for new life to happen, and of the greater intelligence and scheme of life to which we must surrender if we are ever to know even a moment's peace. The fire in your belly is a beautiful aspect of you. Just let it be the breath, the air, Aquarius, that swirls around and through the heart that ignites it, not the passing huffing and puffing of the impatient mind. For when the fire in the belly is fanned by the breath of the heart, you shall have peace and dynamic movement, restful stillness, and soul-inspired action all at once. You shall become one with the living holy paradox, and the healing power of your love shall know no bounds. So I think, maybe just getting used to like what it feels like to allow your emotions to come in to also affect your ideas. That's how it should be, I believe. You really do need that balance, and sometimes you need just a tower moment to force you into realizing that you need a balance like that, and that's maybe what you're going through in this moment. And it's not just all of a sudden you become an expert in handling your emotions if you didn't know how to do that before. So there can be some pain in that, but maybe that's the thing that you need to break your heart open a little bit and allow both sides of things. So keep drawing in that love that you create and that love that people already have for you in this journey. And good luck, Aquarius.